Time to jump into Pay Hero Kenya. We've got their website up here. And, I think this is going to be really interesting for, for anyone who owns a business in Kenya.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, this could be a serious game changer, but we need to break it down to figure out why.
Yeah, for sure. So, one of the things that jumps out at me right away is how much they focus on automation. It's not just about processing payments. It's really like they're trying to, I think they want to change how businesses in Kenya think about their finances.
Right.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah, their tagline is automate payments, save time, reduce errors, increase efficiency. That's a pretty big claim, right?
Yeah, it is. But I think it speaks to a real need. Just think about it. You're running a business in Kenya. You've got payments coming in from all over the place, from Payza, bank transfers, maybe even some international platforms, trying to keep track of all of that, reconciling transactions. It takes up so much time.
Yeah, it's a huge time suck.
Exactly. And that's what PayHero is trying to eliminate.
Yeah, so you can spend less time on spreadsheets and more time actually growing your business.
Exactly. And they're not just talking about saving a little bit of time either. They're actually claiming that businesses can save up to 70% of the time they currently spend on payment processing.
70%?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's huge.
Okay, I'm sold on the whole saving time thing. That's amazing. But how does all this automation actually work? They mention APIs and integrations on their website.
Yeah.
But it all seems kind of, a bit techy,
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, think of PayHero as like a central hub for all your financial activity.
Okay.
And their APIs let them connect directly to all those different platforms, like M-Pesa, banks, everything.
So you don't have to log into 5 different accounts just to check your payments.
Exactly. It all flows into PayHero automatically.
So it's like one dashboard to rule them all.
Exactly. And it means you can do more than just see the payments. You can reconcile them, generate reports. You can even get real-time notifications on your phone whenever a payment comes in.
So like if you're at the market and someone pays an invoice, you get a notification right away.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It gives you so much more agility.
Wow. And they're using WhatsApp too, right?
Absolutely. They're really tapping into how Kenyans communicate.
Right.
And how they do business.
Makes sense.
You can manage Payza till and pay bill numbers, send invoices. You can even receive payments all through WhatsApp.
Oh, wow.
Which is super valuable in a country where so many people rely on their phones.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like they're really focused on the Kenyan market.
They are.
Like they're not just trying to force some generic solution on a completely different context.
Right. They really seem to understand the nuances of how businesses operate here.
Yeah, and that attention to detail shows in their services. It's not just basic payment processing. They've got tools for managing bank accounts, fundraising, even this conversational commerce.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Okay, so before we dive into the specifics of all that, can we take a step back and define this conversational commerce thing?
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling it's pretty important to what they're doing.
You're right. It is. So basically, conversational commerce is all about integrating commerce into the way people already communicate.
Yeah.
Like, think about how much we all use messaging apps like WhatsApp.
Every day, pretty much.
Exactly. And PayHero lets businesses capitalize on that by enabling transactions and customer interactions right within those apps.
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of directing customers to a website or a physical store, you're meeting them where they already are.
Exactly.
It's all about making things easier.
Yeah, for both the customer and the business. You can send payment links, answer questions, provide customer support, all through the apps people are already using every day.
Now, that's smart. And it seems to be working for them. Their website mentions they work with all kinds of businesses, not just a specific niche.
Yeah, they're definitely aiming to be versatile. They list online sellers, physical shops, websites using APIs.
Yeah, so it's not just for tech-savvy startups. It's also for those more traditional brick-and-mortar businesses.
Yeah.
The ones that are the backbone of the Kenyan economy.
Right.
I'm starting to see how PayHero is positioning itself at the forefront of this whole digital transformation that's happening in Kenya.
They are. They're ahead of the curve.
It's impressive.
Yeah. And I think to really understand how PayHero is being used out in the real world, we should take a look at their news desk section.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Because real-world examples always make things clear.
They do.
So let's dive into those articles and see what we can find.
All right. Let's do it.
So there was this one article that really caught my eye. It was about Rent Hero Kenya.
Oh, yeah, that one was interesting.
It's basically a platform that uses PayHero's technology to, like, totally change property management.
It's a great example of how PayHero is doing more than just basic payments. They're creating a whole ecosystem of financial solutions.
Right. Like, Rent Hero is using PayHero to handle everything, from rent collection to bookkeeping.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So, like, imagine you're a landlord with a bunch of properties. Instead of chasing down rent checks every month, you can just automate the whole process through Rent Hero. And it all runs on PayHero's infrastructure.
It's a really smart system.
It is.
And it highlights how PayHero can be tailored to specific industries.
Right.
It's not just about making things more efficient for businesses. It's also about creating a better experience for their customers.
For sure.
Like, think about how much easier it is for tenants to pay their rent through a platform like Rent Hero.
Totally, totally. And speaking of catering to specific needs, there's another article that seemed a little out of place at first. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. It's about the rise of electric bicycles in Kenya.
Oh, yeah, that one.
So it's like, what does that have to do with payments?
Right. I was surprised by that one, too, at first.
Right.
But when you look at the bigger picture, it actually fits perfectly with PayHero's mission.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, electric bicycles are, they're part of this move towards sustainability.
Right.
And they could create all sorts of new business models in Kenya,
Like what?
like delivery services.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or even just personal transportation in cities.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And PayHero isn't just interested in processing payments. They want to help new and innovative businesses grow.
So by highlighting the electric bicycle trend, they're basically saying, hey, we're paying attention to these changes in the market.
Exactly.
And we're ready to support the businesses that are driving them.
That's a great way to put it. They're thinking ahead, anticipating what businesses will need in the future.
That's smart.
And that's a key takeaway here. PayHero isn't just a static platform. They're constantly evolving and adapting.
It's like they're a barometer for what's happening in the Kenyan economy.
Yeah, especially in the digital space.
I like that, a barometer.
And I think that's a key insight for anyone listening. Keep an eye on what PayHero is doing, the businesses they're working with, the trends they're highlighting. It'll give you a good sense of where the future of business in Kenya is headed.
That's a really good point. So if we had to sum it all up, what would you say is the big takeaway for the average Kenyan business owner?
That's a good question. I think the key message is that PayHero is more than just a payment processing tool. It's a whole platform that can help businesses streamline their finances.
Save time, reduce errors.
Exactly. And ultimately, it frees them up to focus on what they do best.
Running their businesses.
Right.
And they're doing it in a way that's specifically designed for the Kenyan market.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
They're taking into account how businesses actually operate here.
And they're designed to grow and evolve as those businesses' needs change.
Yeah, that focus on localization is really what sets them apart.
I think so, too. They're not just trying to import something that works somewhere else. They're building something that's deeply rooted in the Kenyan context.
Yeah, it's impressive. So what would you say to a business owner who's maybe a little hesitant about all this new technology?
Well, I'd say that PayHero isn't about replacing the human element of business. It's about giving business owners the tools they need to be more efficient, more effective, and ultimately more successful.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And in a competitive environment like Kenya's, that can make a huge difference.
You know, it's almost like they're trying to level the playing field. So smaller businesses can have access to the same tools that big companies do.
Right. And I think that's where PayHero could have a real impact. If they can make these tools accessible and affordable, they could really empower a new generation of entrepreneurs in Kenya.
Especially in the digital space.
Exactly.
It's like, imagine a future where starting and running a business in Kenya is way easier, thanks to platforms like PayHero.
It's an exciting thought.
It really is.
And it aligns with those trends we're seeing all over the world, digital inclusion, financial empowerment.
Yeah. It's like PayHero is a case study in how to use technology to solve real problems.
It is. It really is. And it shows how important it is to understand the market you're serving.
Right. You can't just develop technology for technology's sake.
Exactly. You have to understand the culture, the economics.
Everything.
And PayHero's success really depends on that, on their ability to cater to the needs of Kenyan businesses.
Yeah, that localized approach. It could be a model for other fintech companies.
I think so.
Not just in Kenya, but globally.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that innovation isn't always about creating something totally new. Sometimes it's about taking existing technology and applying it in a smart way.
A way that makes sense for the context.
Exactly.
And I think that's another key takeaway for our listeners.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Pay Hero Kenya, what's the big question you want our listeners to think about?
Good question. I think I would ask, how might this focus on automation and integration influence the future of financial technology? Not just in Kenya, but everywhere.
That's a really interesting question. It makes you think about how technology is changing everything.
It is changing everything.
How we live, how we work, how we do business.
PayHero is just one example.
That's a powerful one.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what happens with them in the next few years.
I agree.
And for our listeners out there, if you're interested in learning more about PayHero, I definitely recommend checking out their website.
Yeah, it's worth a look.
Take a look at those news articles we mentioned. Dive into their features. And really think about how this kind of technology could impact your own business.
The world of finance is changing so fast.
It is.
And staying informed about these innovations is crucial, no matter where you are in the world.
That's a great point. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into PayHero Kenya. Thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those brains buzzing.